Hi, this is Kathleen from Daily Academy, mom of 5, homeschooling 2 of them, ages 11 and 14. I heard about a former homeschooler who was having a giant yard sale of books and curriculum that was in our area, and I was so excited about it, but then didn't end up having the funds to go. So after her yard sale, I asked her what she was planning to do with the things that she didn't sell, and she was like, "Oh, I'm just donating them. Anybody can have them for free." So I was like, "I'll take as much as I can fit in my car if you want, and I'll pass on for free anything I don't keep." And she's like, "Sure." So I got to go over there, and I loaded up 6 boxes in my car. It's the most I could fit. Brought it home and got to go through it and pick it out. It was so fun. So I wanted to share with you, first I'll show you a couple of videos of how many books, how the boxes of books, and then a little short video of me sorting them, and then I'll show you my final picks for like fiction, children's fiction and children's nonfiction, and nonfiction for me that I ended up with. So and then I have a whole bunch of boxes of stuff I'm giving away to people in the neighborhood. There, in their city anyway. So that's what I'm going to show you, and I'll wrap it up at the end. Okay, bye. Not bye. Whatever. This is the middle of the stack. That's the stack of ones I'm getting rid of. Not sure yet. Keep, and give my brother. Still working on it. So here's my haul I'm going to show you my haul from the books that I got, that I just showed you a minute ago. Okay, so this is what I got. So I'm going to show you the homeschooly type things first. So I got dynamic memory and study skills. Now, unfortunately, well, first of all, this is a disc thing, but it's missing the first disc. So I don't know if I can even use it yet. I have to take a look at it. Maybe we can do the rest of it. It says here, creator of Dynamic Memory and Study Skills course, co-founder of College Plus, tells a little bit about him. No matter your age or skill level, you'll benefit from this amazing new approach to learning and academic achievement, all in record time. Advanced test prep skills, tools to dynamic memory recall, and ability to quickly remember names, key facts, new vocabulary, and complex formulas. So it has 8 audio CDs, pre-designed 30-minute learning drills, and a multi-use workbook in PDF format. So maybe I can at least use the workbook. I don't know. I gotta look into this. If you know anything about this, let me know. And let me know if you think without the first CD I could even use it, or just the workbook. I'm gonna check that into that for sure. I also picked up Grammar Sense 2. Now, this is by Oxford University Press, so I'm guessing this is like college, or at least high school, the college level 2, as opposed to like, 2nd grade or something. And of course I don't have number 1, but I think, this could be helpful in the later grades. I do have a grade 9, but this just seems to be stuff that we haven't learned. So like the simple present imperatives, the present, the simple past. So this is kind of future. This is a little bit like different than what we need to go over the basics first. But it does include like, adjectives and grammar and stuff like that, but it includes it in like, I don't know, I'm still looking through, but it says this grammar and discourse section, which like an example would be, so like you read something and then you're figuring out the grammar from it. So I think that's kind of cool. And I also have, which I think it came with it, is this grammar guide, because it has from Oxford seminars anyway. So I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but it's an English grammar reference book. So either way I can use this. This is just some, here's the basics section. What's an imperative sentence? When do you use them? How do you form the verb in the imperative sentence? Other uses. Or nouns. How do you form plural nouns? Exceptions, pronunciation. So this would be a great, like, thing to flip back to if we're getting confused on things. Possessives, simple past tense, like we could even learn from this really, but it's meant to be like a reference guide, so I kind of like this. This is by Pearson. And the one that I'm the most excited about, I think, is this textbook for Canada Geography. This is the textbook that they currently use in the schools around here, and although I'm not much of necessarily a textbook like, we don't need to use textbook for everything or anything like that. I do feel like Canadian geography, I may just use the things that I'm working to put together, but I may also like the idea of using a textbook as well. And so it's, a typical textbook, and we're not going to read everything, every single thing and do every single question. That's not how textbooks are done anyway. But this is definitely will be helpful for certain things, and we'll cover the parts of geography, Canadian geography, that I know how to do, like, the teaching of where the geography is, but like things like, communities or economic fishing industries, things like that I could need some help with. So I'm so excited I got this. The reason I'm excited, even if I don't end up using it, is because it is over $100 brand new, and I got it for free. All right, so that's the, like, homeschool specific section. And then in the children's fiction section, I didn't want a whole lot because we haven't been doing much relouds this year. Last year. But I picked up a Blue-Eyed Daisy. Okay, so this is a Blue-Eyed Daisy. I've never heard of this book or anything, but it seemed cute. Because, she's 11 going on 12, which is what my daughter is, and she, loves dogs. So I have to look into it more to make sure nothing bad happens to the dog, because my daughter can't handle that, but otherwise I just thought it was a cute little book. And I do want a couple of things that we can read together that are easy. I got The Wedding Planner's Daughter. Again, never heard of it or anything, but Colleen Murtaugh Prarator, maybe. I read the back and I looked online and everything, it's nothing scary. It's all simple, easy stuff. And 12-year-old Willa is a classic reader, a cherry cordial eater, and quite possibly the world's worst wisher. But she and her glamorous single mother, Stella, move to Bramble, Cape Cod. Willa's wishes begin to come true. She makes her first ever best friend, Tina. She bonds with her hip candy-making Nana. Best of all, Stilly Stella is falling for Willa's English teacher, Sam. He's perfect dad material. But before Willa can marry off her mother or dance with her adorable crush, Joseph, a pit gets stuck in the wishing well. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by that. Can Willa undo the damage before Stella misses her chance to say I do? Again, that's a little simple thing for school. This one, The 10th Pupil. Also never heard of. But I wanted to keep this one just to possibly use for talking about. It's about life on Vancouver Island in a logging camp in 1934. And so I thought that this would be helpful if we were learning about what life was like back then. They're like all doing like they don't have like giant schools. It's just a little logging camp. So they have to have 10 students to have a school. And one of the ones wants to quit. And so now they don't have enough kids to make a school, and they're trying to do something about that. Michelle Mulder, After Peaches. The reason I grabbed this one, or kept this one, I should say, is because it's a 10-year-old from Mexico who's making a new life in Canada, is being teased at school for not speaking English 100% correctly. And they're trying to help their friend Jose and stuff like that. And just because it's Canadian, because it's other cultures, we need to read more other cultures. So I grabbed that one. This is just The Hidden Oracle, book 1 of the Trials of Apollo. The people that do the Percy Jackson books. This is my daughter wants to keep that specifically. My one daughter. The Midwife's Apprentice. I have heard of this book, and it is a Newbery winner. And I like to read the Newbery winners anyway. But yeah, it's about life in the 14th century. A girl who becomes the midwife's helper, apprentice. So I got that one. And this one here is called The Homeschool Liberation League. And unfortunately, I don't have the cover. If I remember, I'll put the cover up to show you. But basically, at first I thought it was a nonfiction book, but it's a fiction book. And I had to, you can't even see the explanation of what it's about. I had to look it up. But basically, it's a girl who goes to a really great wilderness summer camp and loves it so much, in the way that they teach learning and stuff, or way they learn, that she tells her parents that she wants to homeschool. And so she homeschools, and it's like the ups and downs, the goods and hardships that go with homeschooling. And she tries to enjoy something with her friends, and I don't know, something like that anyway. So it sounded cool. So that's that. And then finally I have the children's nonfiction. So I have, I don't have to count children's nonfiction, but this is a poem book. that I wanted to keep. This is from 1970. So I wanted to keep this one because I like the poems, and we could use it in a poetry tea time or anything. Like these, and they're Canadian too. Like this is Niagara Falls. So I like that. This is by that chef, Emeril Lagasse. There's a chef in my world, recipes that take you places. So I don't normally keep recipe books because you can find stuff online. But besides being for kids, I like that it's menus from other places. So like we can make Mexican tortilla soup or Portuguese potato dumplings or beef stroganoff, shrimp teriyaki. Although I don't see us making that, but Toad in the Hole from England, Swiss muesli from Switzerland, mango lassi from India. I would definitely love the idea of making things from other countries and trying things that are new. So that is why I kept that. And you can see like it's designed for kids to follow and everything. So you can see like it's definitely for kids. So I kept that. I have a picture book, Alfred Nobel, the man behind the Peace Prize. So it's the Nobel Peace Prize or whatever. So it's a cute little picture book that explains where the idea came from. So that's something that's worth learning about. This one's about Walt Whitman, who's a famous poet. And this is all about his life. This one is a nonfiction book about circles. So this would be great, like for math. It's like an old made one, of course, but talks about like a Mobius strip, which is always fun. Different use of circles, sundials, ellipse, like circles in space, like all the places that circles are in real life and how you can do cool things with circles. So something to maybe do. I don't know if this is supposed to be kids, not fiction or whatever, but Canadian Scientists and Inventors, Biographies of People Who Shaped Our World by Harry Black. So it's a lot of words, so I don't think it's necessarily for kids, but my kids are old enough that we could definitely read this during a morning basket. One section a time that we want to read it. So I grabbed that. Definitely need to learn more about Canadians. And yeah, that's it. So those are the books that I got for school reasons. Here's the nonfiction that I got for myself. This is Longitude, the true story of a lone genius who solved the greatest scientific problem of his time. And I looked at it. It's the person who figured out how to measure longitude while they were out at sea, I guess. So I like to read this little. It's not going to take me too long to read it. So that looked cool. The Story of My Life by Helen Keller. Look at this book. It was 50 cents. Special foreword by Eleanor Roosevelt. So this is like a really old book. It's hard to tell which this one is, but this particular one, I believe, is from the 50s or 60s. Of course, the book itself is older than that. If you don't know who Helen Keller is, you need to look it up. This is her journals and some other things from, well, I'm sure it was dictated or whatever. I want to read that at some point. A lot of these things you can see are older books. Wordplay, What Happens When People Talk by Peter Farb. The most entertaining and enlightening book on human behavior since games people play. What happens when people talk? How do children begin to speak? Why are we so obsessed with four-letter words? Why do dictionaries distort? Why is silence so important? And what is the crucial difference between animal and human communication? That sounds very interesting to me. I'm going to like that one. This one is Funny Sauce by Delia Ephron. And this is definitely a not joke book, but a funny, humorous, that's it, humorous book. This is like, what does it say here? Funniest and wisest book yet. Knowing look at our lives with our nearest and dearest.
Meet the author's family. Learn how to behave while simultaneously driving. This is a weird way of explaining it. But anyways, for example, this is some famous couples discuss their divorces. Dick and Jane. This is a mom's life. Like, look at this one here. Take your plate into the kitchen, please. Take it downstairs when you go. Don't leave it there. Take it upstairs. Is that yours? Don't hit your brother. I'm talking to you. Just a minute, please. Can't you see I'm talking? I said don't interrupt. Did you brush your teeth? What are you doing out of bed? Go back to bed. You can't watch in the afternoon. What do you mean there's nothing to do? Go outside. And so on. So that one's just about, like, things you talk to your kids about. So it's just like, reminds me of, oh, what is her name? Irma Bombeck. It reminds me of her books. This one is obviously self-published. Bloopers. More tales from the police locker room. I mean, I don't know. I don't mind self-published books, and listening to bloopers from the police locker room sounds funny, so I will give it a try. This one is Growing Strong in the Seasons of Life, Charles R. Swindoll, and I believe this is a Christian one. Yes, so it looks like it's separated by, like, winter, summer, fall, and then each one is, like, this is autumn, and each month is separate little reflections for that month. And at the end of, like, you're reading it, there's weird, like, what Bible verses to look at and some questions or things to do. Actually, not questions, branching out. Console someone today by phone or in person who is having a low tide season. Care for him in a loving way, maybe just by filling up his lonely evening, bringing flowers or uplifting music, or taking him out for a surprise dinner. So that's a cool way to, like, learn, think about stuff and also kind of actually branch me out to do these things, which will be useful for me. So I'll look into that. This one made me laugh. First Aid for Hypochondriacs. The first medical manual with speedy diagnosis and immediate home treatments for scores of terrifying illnesses and trauma. Emergency action for those eager to hear the worst and make the most of it. And I mean, look at this. You got the importance of panic in any crisis. How to tell if your heart has stopped. Like, seriously? Treating shock and disappointment. Be prepared. Keep an iron lung in the garage. How to say I'm sick in 20 languages. Never use the word bleeding when hemorrhaging will do. How long before you die? So, it looks like a joke, like a break. What's the word I want? A little bit of actual help, but mostly just joking, I'm thinking. Let's see here. Cuts. Never say bleed. Say hemorrhage. Don't use a tourniquet. They look dramatic, but they will make your arm fall off. Use pressure to stop the bleeding. You can put pressure on the cut itself, or you can put pressure on your spouse. If you say something like, honey, I'm bleeding, she will probably come and help you. If she doesn't, try the children. Often children are not as upset by injuries since they bleed so often themselves, and they may be able to keep a cool head. Pay them off in ice cream. This may also work for your spouse. You can also try the neighbors, depending on what they are like. In big cities, it is not a good idea to let anyone know that you're bleeding. People may take it as a sign of weakness. Make a really big bandage. See dressings with style. See what I mean? Sounds funny. Stomach Virus and Other Forms of Family Bonding by Kathy Peel. This one, I wasn't sure exactly what it is, but I flipped through it, and it looks like it's kind of like motherhood, what is the word I want? Advice? No, not advice. Let's see what it says here. Raising a family is hard work. It requires a strong stomach, a forgiving heart, and calluses on your knees, but it's the most important job you'll ever do, and to pull it off, you need every ounce of encouragement, faith, and insight you can muster. Kathy Peel has packed this book with all three, plus hilarious observations on the ups and downs of family living and practical advice for teaching kids values, actually talking to teenagers, keeping siblings from murdering one another, surviving vacations, and staying sane in the midst of it all. So this is a Christian one as well. Anyways, I thought it sounded interesting, so I will give it a try at some point. This one, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. Classic Training Manual for Dog Owners. By the Monks of New Skeet, apparently. So yeah, this looks really cool. Apparently the Monks of New Skeet have achieved international renown as breeders of German Shepherds and outstanding trainers of dogs of all breeds. So there's just them sharing everything that they have learned. So as the owner of a fairly new puppy, I will be reading this for sure. 8 choices that will change a woman's life. Discussion questions included. This is Christian living. Yeah, so this is a Christian one. You can choose to have a life that is happy, blessed, and pleasing to God. These qualities are within your grasp, but you will have choices to make. It's up to you. This insightful book will give you the tools you need to make choices that will change your life for good. Based on the wisdom of the Book of James, this book offers simple guidelines for life's complex choices. Resist pain or use it. Pursue wealth or grace. Speak wisely or foolishly. Value your time or fritter it away. Live for self or spirit. Develop God's gifts or waste them. Persevere under trials or protest your life. Stand for truth or abandon it. So that sounds really interesting. About halfway through. I got two. I'm going to show you at the same time. I got these two Star Trek books. Like old Star Trek, original Star Trek, by William Shatner. Both of them. And this one's Star Trek Memories, and this one's Star Trek Movie Memories. And they're, they got like photos from the movies or the shows, and him talking about how when there's a couple color pictures in the middle. I love Star Trek. Let me know if you love Star Trek. These are awesome. This one is an older book, The Plague in Shakespeare's London by Peter Smith. And this book itself is from, where does it say it? This is from 1960 something, and talks about literally the plague in that time period. 1963. I don't know, I thought it'd be interesting, so I grabbed it. Oh, this one's a big one. The Star Won't Go Out by Esther Earle with Laurie and Wayne Earle. The Life and Words of Esther Grace Earle. So I didn't know who this was or anything, but I read. This sounds interesting. Diagnosed with thyroid cancer at age 12, Esther, Persian for Star, Earle, was an exceptionally bright and talented but very normal teenager. She lived a hope-filled and generous, outwardly focused life as she navigated her physical decline with grace. A cheerful, positive, and encouraging daughter, sister, and friend, Esther died in 2010, shortly after turning 16, but not before inspiring thousands through her growing online presence. This unique memoir collects her journals, fiction, letters, and sketches. Photographs and essays by family and friends help to tell her story, along with an introduction by award-winning author John Green, the author of The Fault in Our Stars. As you can see, there's like photos and notes and journal prompts, not prompts, journals. So I like reading about memoirs of people who are sick, and I thought this would be interesting too. Alright, running out of room over here. We got Living the Good Life, Health and Success for You for Canada. Again, love Canadian books, so I'm going to go with this. David Patchell Evans. He's the person who started Good Life Fitness. The founder, that's the word I was looking for, the founder of Good Life Fitness. And he shows that just 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week is all it takes. His famous saying, good enough is good enough, means that good health and fitness are achievable for you. And so I'm going to read all about that. Three more. Eating culture. So this is like the culture of eating. It's just eating has never been simple, and contemporary eating practices seem more complicated than ever, demanding a multidimensional analysis that strives not for a reductive overview but for a complex understanding. This book offers a number of diverse outlooks on some of the prominent practices and issues associated with the domain of eating and contemporary culture. Lavishly illustrated with 19 photographs and 11 historical postcards, the book brings to bear contemporary, interdisciplinary thinking on a topic that has been widely but not critically discussed in the media. So it's a bit of a heavy read, but sounds interesting to me. And the last two books, I have Mitch Albom, Have a Little Faith, A True Story. I like his book, Tuesdays with Morrie, and the 5 People You Meet in Heaven. So I wanted to read this one too. This is True Story. In the beginning, there was a question, will you do my eulogy? As is often the case with faith, I thought I was being asked a favor. In truth, I was being given one. So, that was... And the last one, which I've now covered, The 7 Laws of the Learner by Wilkinson. There it is, so you can see better. This is Multnomah Press, which means it's Christian as well. And yeah, the law of the learner, the law of expectation, the law of application, the law of retention, the law of need, the Law of Equipping and the Law of Revival. I don't know exactly what it is, but it sounds like it's some sort of course or something. It's got like discussion questions, so you learn something and then you discuss about it. I don't know, I gotta look into this more, but it sounds interesting.
Alright, let me know which of those books you already own, which ones you love, which ones you're interested in, or if there's something that just, sparks your interest. I would love to hear about it. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye. Hi, this is Kathleen from Bailey Academy, mom of 5, homeschooling 2 of them, ages 11 and 14.